All right, hey everybody. Welcome back to the Binary Ninja live stream. I'm your host. Do I get to say I'm your host? I don't know. I'm Jordan. I'm one of the developers of Binary Ninja, one of the folks who works at Vector 35, and this is just going to be a little live stream all about Binary Ninja. I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all have to say about it because I don't have like a set schedule. I have a lot of different ideas of things that we can talk about, things that we can do, but I would love to make it dependent upon what you want to do as well. So I'll be keeping an eye on chat. Last week, I was also watching the Binge Slack and the YouTube chat, but in the interest of having these things make more sense to everyone who's watching them, even if they're just catching the VOD, I'm only going to be looking at the YouTube chat. So if you want to say something or to heckle, I highly recommend hopping into the YouTube chat and doing it there. In the meantime, let's get to the part that you actually want to see, which is let's get into Binary Ninja. So I've got a couple of ideas for things that we can do today. So here's my current list of topics. I was thinking we can do just some Q&A. If we've got questions, I'll take those kind of at any time. I was going to look over actually the list of all the Binary Ninja plugins, because going through the plugin manager, I think we might find some interesting ones you weren't aware of. I also might be some broken ones. We could submit some pull requests, or we can play with. We can check and see how they're working. I was also going to talk about maybe reviewing the 2.2 release notes. So if you want to talk about new features, things that have been kind of happening, just recently, like what's the latest up and coming features that are going on, we could do that. And then the last one I was thinking about, probably not this stream, but maybe if there's interest, we can write a new plugin or a snippet, or we can do a little bit of coding with the API. I know Josh Watson, who had an awesome stream for a long time, used to do a lot of plugin writing, and that's certainly something that I'm up for, but I will caveat this with, I am probably not the best developer of Vector 35 to write plugins, but I'm okay. Like, I can get the job done, so it'll be like a real world person doing it, not like the expert who knows everything, but I'll just message them in our Slack and see if I can get questions answered if we need it. So that's kind of my list of topics. Like I said, questions, you're welcome to chime in at any point. I'm gonna play, let's look at some plugins right now. And also a brief setup, if you watched the little test stream that I did last week, I redid the whole VM like several times actually. I was kind of playing with tweaking Regolith and i3 as my window manager. I haven't run Linux as a daily driver in a long time. I've been mostly Mac, but I've always like wanted to get better with tiling window managers. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be a fun experiment. There was a question about what is a plugin or feature that hasn't been implemented that I would like to see. That actually has a really easy answer, because there's literally a discussion on the discussion board about plugins. Oops. Let's see. Yeah, plugin idea wish list. Right, so the plugin idea wish list actually has a list of all of the plugins that I think would be great. Other people have added their ones to the list, and you can actually see a lot of them have already been completed. Or there's some that have kind of some functionality, but maybe could use a little bit more. So there's a good list. If I were to pick my favorite, when binary view source release. Oh yeah, that's a good question too. Honestly, the binary views, probably we could just release pretty soon. There's some platform files, so some binary view files that we've been planning to open source as well. That's a good question. I actually don't know. We haven't really scheduled it. It's really just we got the other stuff kind of done and haven't really thought about it. But that's a good question. Yeah. So actually, this is also a good time to point out the discussion, GitHub discussions. I'm really excited about discussions, because for a long time, like, we have the Slack, which I imagine a fair amount of the people in the chat are from or have used. It's a great way to like stay in touch with other Binary Ninja users, and the developers. We're all on there. But the problem with Slack is that you lose like over time, right? Like, you can't search for an answer from 2 weeks ago without a paid Slack, and we're not going to have $1 million a month that we're going to pay in Slack fees for the like 3,000 people who signed up for it. I don't think it'd be $1 million, but it'd be expensive. It'd be a lot more than we want to spend on it. And so we could set up some Yeah, like a subreddit was an idea. That was like one thing we talked about. We talked about, trying to use like the r slash so there's the reverse engineering stack exchange was another thing that we considered. Something that is like searchable, something you can have better like long-term stuff. And we actually set up a discourse server, which there's a lot I really like about discourse. But I also really like not having to run my own servers for anything if I can help it. And so it was right around the time that the GitHub Discussions was like announcing their beta. And so I was like, yeah, that works really well. So you'll see we're actually pretty active to this. Actually, so you can have access to all of your history in Slack. Here's like a fun thing that they don't really tell you. You can go in and export your history on any Slack, and you'll get it. It's just not like a searchable thing. There's no easy index, but you can just go and be like, give me my archive of all of this Slack, and it will give it to you. And there's even some other tools that will semi-automate that or put that in a separate web searchable interface. Like, so it's doable. You can totally work around that. But I feel like it's still not really the right answer, right? Like Stack Exchange like really nails the like, like I assumed that would not be the case, that if you have a free Slack, you wouldn't get the full archive, but it's not actually true. So a friend who used to work at Slack was like, yeah, no, you can totally do that. I didn't believe him until I tried it. But like even if we just did that, that really doesn't solve the problem of you want to have sort of like more of a curated list of answers. Like a wiki is kind of it because like everybody can edit it and shape it over time, but the Q&A of like I think Stack Overflow really is what we wanted, and so that's what GitHub's going for. That's definitely the feel you can tell. That's why they even have like answered or unanswered. So like you can see we've answered all of these, but one of the questions from Europe who has a great question that I still don't know a good answer for. So it's one that we've talked about internally. Yeah, like Discord, when we first launched the Slack, Discord was a close option. And we thought about going to Discord, but I think we've got a great community in Slack for ephemeral community conversations. There's like, for example, there's a half dozen folks that are working on our ARM architectures that we open sourced. And so there's a channel on the Slack just for all of them to kind of collaborate and communicate about what they're doing, right? It doesn't really make sense to like search that long term, but it's really nice to have just like a little kind of gathering place. But then the discussions that we've got here, discussions are a much better way to like get a long form question and answer kind of thing going on, right? So for example, actually I'm not even logged in. Am I to GitHub on this one? But what's a good one? Here's a good one. Like, how do I load? Like, this is a question that's come up several times, and so it was really nice. In fact, we're trying to get in the habit of like when somebody asks a question in Slack, if it's one that we have heard a lot, we're like, please go answer or ask that over in the discussion, and then we'll put a really good, well thought out long-term answer there. So you can see like we've actually got some code snippets, and I was wrong about something. I thought there was another way to do it that was available, but it's not. But like we try to put a little bit more kind of thought into things there. So discussions are a nice feature. It's also still in beta. Also, what did I do to like full screen this? Yeah. Like I said, I'm still getting used to i3. The only thing is that it's changing a lot because it is still in an early beta. So you'll see the actual layout. Like for example, a lot of people are complaining that the width of this should be a lot wider. It doesn't really match like issues and some of the other. Whatever. It's fine. I think it works really well, and they're doing lots of nifty improvements and changes over time. So back to the plugin idea wish list. Excellent. Somebody said they got their shirt a week or two ago. Yeah, in fact, I think there is the sale is over. I think we ended the, it was supposed to be a blank tab. I hate that spam there. We had a sale for Halloween for like discounted t-shirts, which I think has ended, but we'll do them occasionally. We'll do sales or discounts, or sometimes we'll send free ones out to people for whatever reason. But our shirts are really nice, so I'm actually repping one of them right now. I made sure to do that. And we also have coffee mugs in the store. That's also a TV show reference. I don't know if anybody gets that one there. Anyway, I'm gonna try not to like shill the swag too much. My favorite, or the plugin I would most like to see written, is probably the binary diffing, right? So actually, there is a little bit of work going on already with bindiff to get binja support. Actually, do I not even link to it there? No, I don't even link to that branch. So there's some early work to be able to like use Binary Ninja for the with bindiff. It's not quite totally packaged the way it is with IDA yet, but that's coming along. I know Yaxen was debating was talking about doing some IL stuff with Diaphora, and I think he kind of got stalled out. Last I heard, he said he just hasn't had a chance to make much progress on it. But I think in particular there's an opportunity for somebody to build a plugin that is based on like ILs in particular, and would be able to do some interesting stuff with binary diffing. So it's something we've kind of had on our to-do list and like for a while, like, oh yeah, at some point we'd like to take a stab at that too. We think it'd be fun. I think in terms of like actual like functionality, better C++ functionality would be really nice too. Although that would probably be better with a like a set of core features. But at this point, you really can do anything like with the UI plugin. The plugins are pretty flexible, so you can change a lot. I have 3 Binary Ninja t-shirts right now, and a couple of them are like threadbare. I've had them for so long. So it's about time. I do have a hat somewhere around here too. But at the office, we actually have like one of those like rolling shelving units that's just like stacked full of stuff. So it's always fun to whenever they come visit to like take him in and show him all of the stickers and t-shirts and all that fun stuff. So yeah, so that's that long question. I'll do a really long. Oh, that's cool. Nice. I hadn't seen the Trilobits Wintern projects, so yeah, David mentioned that the Trilobits. Let's actually look at that. That was the old one. Do they have an update? Maybe is it in their vlog? Look at that. Yeah, if you got a link, drop it in. Yeah, there's a lot of good folks over at Trilobits. Curious to see what they're doing. And actually, I think Peter from Trilobits just popped over to mention that they are working on Mixema and Remail in the way that they do their lifting to LLVM was not as conducive to the way Binary Ninja's IL generation worked. And it wasn't really like a problem with either one. It was just sort of like an architectural decision that happened when they built it originally with IDA that made it not as easy to swap out Binja. But they're in the middle of a refactor, which I think will make that work better. So we might be seeing some more from that as well. They're doing some stuff. But yeah, I'd be really curious to see what their diffing stuff is. I think there's room for improvement in the community there. So all right, so let's look at some like plugins. So I'm hitting Control-Shift-M. Oh, that's one thing I was gonna do. I was gonna add like a little hotkey thing. I don't know. Do you guys think it's actually useful to see the hotkeys when I hit them? I feel like it could also be just kind of noisy on the screen. So I don't know if you really need to see a whole lot. I'm just gonna use Control-P for the command palette. And from there, like, if you want to learn a hotkey, you can just like read it because it says it right there. So it's not like it's super hard. So there's a 6502. I mean, that's one of our official ones. Oh, here's a cool trick. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you can actually do, is it official? Yeah, so like there's a couple of keywords you can put into the search box. And I don't remember if that's documented in the docs. I think it might be now. The plugin manager, yeah, there we go. Plugin manager searching, right? So this is a list of like special keywords. So you can, if you've got like a lot of plugins installed, and I remember where I'm at, you just want to find the ones that are installed. Like I don't have any installed right now. So like I'm going to install my first install I always put, which is BNIL graph. Yeah, it's going to warn me the first time that it's a community plugin. So with Zombies built this one. Yeah, so Valgrind has used 6502. Like you mean of the built-in ones you've used 6502 more than even like x86 and ARM, or you just mean, excuse me, amongst the plugins, that's the plugin that you've installed the most and used. Yeah, so you can see add official, you can see add installed, yeah, you can see the things are enabled, yeah, disabled. Like if I had a bunch of plugins that were enabled or installed but disabled. Like actually, for example, the Ginja plugin, which I don't have Ghidra on this VM yet, But one of the things this plugin just updated so that it now, because it used to just always use Ghidra to decompile every function all the time, which Ghidra is much slower than Binary Ninja at decompilation. So it was just like really painful to do both Ninja's decompilation and Ghidra's in the background for everything every time you open a binary. But I think in like an update ago, he updated it so if the doc widget on the side is not actually open, it won't show it, which is super nice. So that's a cool. Oh, cool. Yep. Yeah, and that the ability to write your own architecture plugin, I think, is one of the strengths there. So, all right, let's pick a plugin to play with. I'm trying to think of one I haven't played with in a while. Like I use BNL Graph all the time, so it doesn't require a ton of like setup. Oh, Dwarf Import. Yeah, that's one of the official ones, but that's a relatively new one to add door symbols. It's kind of should be relatively straightforward and boring though. You just run it and then you get a bunch of dwarf information. Although this is also something worth mentioning. So Control Comma brings up the settings. It's off by default right now, but there's a new feature internally that lets you simplify C++ templates. So for like the standard libraries, you don't want like the huge expanded full name. And so this will clean them up and make them kind of much more readable, a little bit more like you would have written it. Python for 3.9 for data classes. Oh wait, there's a bug in which one? Somebody's seg break is saying. Is that segment break or sig break? I guess segment break. Say there's a bug in one of these plugins. Could very well be. But the simplifier is off by default. There's a little bit of a performance hit, but if you've got some dwarf symbols, it can really clean them up, which is nice. So those tend to go hand in hand. Yeah, SENinja. That's a good one. Let's look at that. I had not used this one at all. That's a great one. The other thing I like about this is they've actually got like a different layout. Like so they put the feature map on the sidebar to make it more like IDA than the mini graph up there. And it uses Z3. So do I need to install Z3 as a, yeah, so pip3 install Z3 solver. Bring up tmux sudo pip3 install Z3 solver. Oh, do your keyboard frequency analysis and get my password for my VM that is only used for this. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Let's install SENinja. Okay, it's there. Now what do we do with it? Dwarf Import has a simple bug, the issue tracker. Ooh, yeah. A bug that we could do on stream. That's not a bad idea. And that one's actually one I can just like push changes to, although not from this laptop right now. I need to actually set this laptop up so I could push changes, but we could fix it locally and test it and I can upload it afterwards. Yeah, let's oh, the bug already does. Nice. All right. Well, let's look at SENinja first because I think that's a fun one. And also, if you guys in general have votes and you wanted to do more of the Q&A, more of the 2.2 release functions instead of the plugins that we're playing with now, like chime in. I'm pretty flexible. We'll see what people want. So the symbolic execution plugin for Binary Ninja. All right, we've got start it, change the state, step. All right, so the idea behind symbolic execution is that you're not doing concrete execution, which is where you're actually computing values, but you're computing sort of like relative changes, right? So if you add to something and you don't know what it was before, normally you wouldn't really be able to calculate it in a concrete debugger. You don't know what RAX plus 5 is because you don't know what RAX was necessarily before your function, or like an argument to a function. But with a symbolic executor, you're like, I don't care what it was. It's just that symbol. It's just a thing, and then I'm going to make this transformation to it. You can create this expression with all of those things together, right? So at least that's my understanding. I'm not an expert in the domain, so somebody else may have a better explanation. But the idea is that using Z3, using a solver, something that can take equations and simplify them, you can create these expressions by tracing through all the transformations that happen on something through a symbolic execution engine, and then simplify it and produce actual values. You can prove things. You can say like, yeah, that value must be this, or it must be between this range, or you can do stuff like that. So yeah, that's a really cool plugin. And this is actually one of the first plugins I've seen where they give you like snippets that you can run in the console, which I really like. That's super nice. So you can get yourself this current state and set the constraints and see if it's satisfiable. In other words, can given that current state, and I guess you can like step, right? So you could actually control the flow using the UI. That's pretty cool. All right, well, it's installed, so let's spin it up. Yeah, and a wiki as well, so it's pretty nice. Ooh, here's an even better example. Right, so I'm wondering how you, from here, so I haven't even used S3 very much, or even Anger and some of the wrapping it does of it to do CTF challenges. I kind of like retired before that happened, but who documents their code tools, right? I know. Hey, Josh, welcome. And yeah, that's really well done. Oh, there is a to do. All right. I mean, to be fair, I committed something to the Venture repo and documentation that has to dos in it just this last week. Yeah, so let's open, I guess, I've got a couple of like a crack me style bomb lab exercises here. And let's play with I don't even know which one is which, but let's see. So yeah, so there's okay, and this should be executable too. This is the nice thing about using Linux for once. Stream binaries. Oh, it's 32-bit, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Anybody know the magic incantation off the top of your head on it's like libc colon i386? Something like that? Something like that, I forget what it is. Yeah, bomb crack me is like is like the classic. I think everybody's used although there's like so many of them, so I've actually gathered like a collection of bombs. Like I don't even know the differences of which one's which at this point. I guess that no explode one maybe is one that's been patched. There's a couple of different ones, and I think none of these are the actual original. The original was a little bit hard to get because it was like the CMU one. I think RPI has published one since then. A couple other people have gotten them. But oh, here's another thing I was going to point out. This kind of bothers me, right? Like this string is too short. Like I want to see more. And like, yeah, I can click here and see the full string, but like these are truncated just a little bit. So I like showing off settings that people might not know about. So you can actually change the maximum string annotation length, and I usually double it. If I can turn numlock on, whatever. And then I'll just reload it because it's faster. Also, I like to hit, if you, from the new tab pane, a lot of people don't know, you can just hit 1, 2, or whatever the number of the recent file is, and you can open it up immediately. Right, so I'll open up bomb from there. There we go. Like that's just, yeah. So depending on the size of your monitor, that you can crank that up even wider and font sizes and whatnot. But I like that. All right, so we've got a phase 1 bomb, and they're comparing arg1, which is this an argument to this one? Oh, I got to figure out how to install the, let's see. Let's see, 36, 32-bit. Let's see. Oh, libc 6, was that the only difference? There we go. I might need like, let's see, I might get all our dependencies. Let's see. Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks, David. Yeah, I can never remember the add architecture stuff, so I just like install the one package, and that's, yeah, it gets you all the requirements. I don't know if add architecture will basically just add you a whole bunch of extra ones or not. I'm not sure. But that one works for me. So, oh, I have snippets up and running here too. So in case you want to edit a plugin. All right. So phase 1 was, yeah. I mean, like I think I can handle that string there, right? Oh, that's cute. There. No, that's the wrong copy paste buffer. Control C. Yeah, it's gonna get it with quotes. So let's That's the one thing that's gonna take me the most time to remember on Linux is right. So I don't think anyone's surprised by that. But I want to find something that's a little more amenable to SENinja here. So actually, let's just patch this one out. I don't think this one sets anything that I need to care about, does it? Nope. So, oh, this is another really, really fun trick. I love this a lot. So if you go to your hotkeys, Control-Shift-B, and you go search for, you have to click to focus. I think it's kind of an annoying bug. And you set backspace or delete. I'm going to use delete to convert to not. And actually, there's also the never branch, which is the same thing. And you can map them both because they won't be in the same context because convert to not turns into that, I believe, when you're at a branch. Let's find something. Yeah, so if I patch, yeah, so never branch just turns into not because the context changes, and so it never shows them at the same time. Right, so you can set the same hotkey for both, and it will always be consistent. But so I really like this. Oh, that's weird. This thing is already not there. Actually, I don't really have it like that. Control P, show address, and let's copy address. Open that tab again. Go to the same address. Yeah, there's just some knobs in there. Okay, cool. All right, so the thing I really like, it's like feels like a superpower because in is it working linear IL too? It does now. Yeah, I think Shushang added that. So you can literally in like source for like calls, you can be like, yeah, just delete that call. Like, okay, it's gone. Like, and now I'm gonna save it, and we're gonna call it pom for patched. I love that. That one is so good. Yeah, okay. So that one's pretty easy. I mean, obviously this is a really trivial one to do. I'll make sure I'm getting, oh, I'm getting all the comments right this one. Yeah. Can't tell if it's scrolling off the screen. So, right, let's go back to phase 2. Read 6 numbers. And what's being passed in? Oh, just a pointer probably that's going to write into, and then it's going to read it. And this is actually just going to, okay, right, literally just scanf it. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, if you fail the mash out, it explodes too. That makes sense. All right, so if we verify this, we should be able to say just like something that's not, right, 5 numbers. Now we're still gonna, or not 6 numbers. We're still gonna, yeah, so let's try, let's see, where did SENinja go? So SENinja. And by the way, one of the discussions we're having internally is how we need to reorganize the right-click menu. So if y'all have thoughts about that, I threw together like a little prototype in our chat. I can pull up and show you guys if you care. But I think that like we should kind of both sort things a little more cleanly so they're together. So like for example, copy as, paste, and transform down here should be next to these up here. And like all the plugins, like I've only got a couple of plugins now, but the more plugins you have, like this can very easily fill up. And then we should bury, I think, some of these things, like all of these do stuff to the current function, put those under a submenu. I think it would make a lot more sense. But if any of you guys have opinions on the matter, I would love to hear them. Let's see. If I put this here, when I switch to the other camera, see, I've got my little wide angle lens all like blocking a lot of auto layers, so I gotta. No, to be honest, that camera is just for cubing. So when I'm doing my speed cubing, I can get a good cube cam. It's not exactly work related, but don't tell my coworkers. To be fair, that is my personal GoPro. But so yeah, so we need to clean those up. All right, but let's go back to SENinja and SENinja start symbolic execution, change current state, step, merge states, save active state. Set IP to address. I don't quite. Do you set like breaks? I don't quite follow here. Continue. I'm also going to look at this in assembly. I think it might be a little bit easier to look at what it's going to do in assembly. Also, I don't really care about that function there. I care about the diffuse check, right? Remember, if there's 6 strings, and it's going to scanf for a string after a decimal. So a separate step, or wait, am I in the next phase, or no? Because there's read line for 1, there's read line for 2. So read 6 strings. And that's this. Oh, is this where the decimals are going to get read into? Wait, this is not this. That's the only cross-reference to that address there. So what's it going to? All right, decimal of the string. Oh, there's another one. Diffuse the secret stage. Is that just totally unrelated, I guess? It's recursively going to double the arguments. And then this one, it just increments to 1. Where are we actually gonna? Yeah. Actually, this is, you know what? The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the debugger on here. That's another good. All right, you can right click on that too. I always forget about that. It says debugger is disabled. Oh, I don't know if I have GDB installed. I have GDB installed. Oh, right-clicking and choose install probably just installs without enabling it. Probably the button does both. No, so the only reason that Binary Ninja should change the channel it's on is if you move it. Because the way that, so most settings, right? Most settings in Binary Ninja are just stored in your user folder. So .binary ninja, library application support Binary Ninja on Mac, and in Windows it's somewhere in app data. And so your settings here are like global settings for all of Binary Ninja. So anytime I change something in the settings there, it's gonna get changed everywhere that the Binary Ninja runs. But if you, for example, like I have a lot of times I'll actually make a separate folder. So you notice I have Binary Ninja and Binary Ninja stable. And I'll just copy off a separate install that I want to leave at like a different version, and I'll switch between them. In fact, actually on my main Mac, I have like 7. I have like previous stable, current stable, one I use for binary testing, one I use for test branches. Yeah, I just have a whole bunch of them side by side installed so I can switch around. But so intentionally, so that you can have different update settings per like install location. Like if we had these settings here be global, you wouldn't be able to do that because every time you started up a different version, it would automatically try to like update to the other channel or the other build. And so like this is and I think like window layout. So literally like maximized or how big the window is on platforms that aren't like i3 where it doesn't matter. That information gets saved in some Q settings, and in on Linux, I want to say it's in .config. Yeah, and then like, you know, you're stored here. Windows is actually in the registry. Yeah, so you can actually see here. Our recent file list is also there. And then window locations. Yeah, that dialog box, you have to click OK. But I think there's, yeah, there's a, the update settings are stored in here. such that, oh, this is a really nice one too. Recent commands, right? So that's what lets the command palette know the things you've recently typed and sort them automatically. Oh, and like I don't mind. Like, sorry, I'm really ADD to begin with, and so I apologize in advance if you're looking for a very consistent, straightforward analysis of something. That's probably not going to be this stream. If people really want that, I mean, I can try to script it out, do something much more rigorous, but I like to bounce around. This is why this is a stream and not like an edited package video. So if we do something edited later, we'll like put it all together. Then we'll cut out like the side conversations. But I think those are like the most fun in a lot of ways. So yeah, short explanation is if you move the install location, then it will change, right? Because it is intentionally so that you can have different update settings for different builds. Like, so yeah, this example, this is the like literally latest dev from like today, but I can go run this other Binary Ninja and that's stuck on this table. And you'll notice it doesn't automatically try to update me back because this version is set to just stay on the stable. I'll still probably disable automatic updates because I just like to do it manually, but yeah, whereas this one stays on the dev channel, and then I manually choose it. So, all right, back to our bomb lab. Let's figure out how the let's see. Can I tell SENinja that I want to get to a particular location, like get me here, produce me an input? And so the problem is, I bet it can't handle. I don't know what it's gonna do with like. Oh wait, what? There's a grade bomb environment variable it checks for. What does that do? If it's not 0, it just exits. I'm confused. Why would it do that? It's not like a cheat code. It just terminates. Really? No, I didn't. Did I get it right? Grade bomb. Let's read line right. Grade underscore bomb. Okay. Yeah, let's do it in a new shell. Grade bomb. Yeah, I don't really know what the grading is doing there. That's all right. You don't feel bad because it's. Oh, I just spilled chai all over my desk. Maybe I shouldn't have put that where my arm goes. It's my choice on how I want to handle it. I could always ignore you if I don't want to do it, so it's fine. All right. So, oh, all right. If the line is too long, I assume this is the count of characters. Oh no, I have to check for that here. So what's this one? One of the things I like about the command palette is that you can do all the display as without actually finding it on the menu, because like I can never find where there it is right where that one actually is. So I just will highlight the token and just do display, and you can still see the same values that that you would get out of it right there. Right, so 1,000. I thought that looked familiar. All right. Anyway, you're seeing why I'm the worst reverse engineer on the team. But let's get back to getting this is still secret phrase. Let's do it. Should we just want our 6 strings? So we can get here. Wait, is it literally just if there's 6 digit decimals, that's all it is? Doesn't care what they are? Well, that's not a particularly interesting challenge, is it? So maybe that's not a good one to do. Let's do the patched one again. That one's empty. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let's Where's the debugger? I have the debugger enabled. I usually bind restart to a hotkey too, because I like to be able to restart quickly, especially when I'm dealing with small files. Debugger. So let's bring up the debugger. Actually, I don't know how this is going to work with the font and the screen size. I mean, not bad. Let's go to main. All right. So what we really want to do is go to, oh, I don't really need the debugger. I guess I don't actually want to solve this with the debugger anyways, so I would rather go back to SENinja. Oh, we still need to redo the icons, I think, in the theme colors. Let me see. So, all right, SENinja. Let's just quit the debugger. Told you I'm scattered enough. I'm gonna like switch around on my own. Doesn't matter. I have to keep myself from looking at like the stream count and be like, oh no, everyone's quitting. Actually, somebody literally, as I said that, somebody left. So the debugger is there, and it has some really nice features in it, but it's also a little bit slow still because it's implemented entirely in Python. It could probably be sped up just by some better optimizations, but I mean, it has some nice features like, seeing the live memory. But I still, I don't know, out of habit, I prefer to like, to use GDB or something else separately. But again, like I don't actually CTF as much that often anymore, so don't listen to me. You should listen to people that actually do this stuff still. So phase 2 diffused. All right, so this is our bomb. It's going to read 6 numbers. Oh, yeah. So here's the verification that we were hitting on earlier. We were actually exploding. So if we really want to break it, let's see if we can figure out how to SENinja from here. So start symbolic execution. Okay. Well, that's not a good sign. Maybe I shouldn't do that on an IL object. Let's try this on assembly. Oh, it's already running. Let's restart Ninja. I'm not sure I trust that. All right, so let's open our patch binary. I'm gonna go to phase 2. I'll switch over here and right. So now we're going to, maybe that error was actually safe to ignore then. Okay. Let's get our memory mapped. And now let's see, started it, change current state. No such deferred state. Let's look back at our wiki. How to use right click, source on execution. The instruction which the state is going to execute is highlighted in green. Yep, it is. Confirmed. The page we use to oh, well, yeah. Widgets. Oh, okay. So there is some to-dos then. Actually, here, let's what's the widgets we've got? Oh yeah, there we go. Can turn on some doc widgets. SENinja registers. Let's drop these. Where do you want them? Let's put them on the right above the feature map. Sure, we could do that too. And then let's turn on memory. Let's put it above it. And let's turn on buffers. You need to set like a default location. Oh, here, let's make some notes. So default location. Yeah, that'd be a fun change to do. The GIL. Oh, Python and threading is the worst. Let's shrink buffers and let's leave that. All right, so. Oh, right. This is one of my pet peeves. That thing, I always turn off. So I added that setting because I really don't like it. So I can just not have that hover constantly popping up. Oh no, what happened to my... Oh, right, it just switched over here. Okay, I don't know why that window layout changed. Actually, is that gonna do that if I switch away again, switch back? Yes, it is. It's annoying. I'll just turn off feature map for now. It's interesting that the order changes based on that. All right, so we've got SENinja. Get the reg value of... Okay, so if it's... Oh, that's kind of cool. So if is it currently running, I can just interact with it from here. That'd be neat. S dots regs dot racks. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're 32-bit. Yep. I mean, that's just the same as that. That makes sense. Yeah, like that tooltip. I mean, so if you want it, it's there still. With my setting, like you can hold control, I think. Yeah, if you hold control, it will show up. So you can still do it, but I don't like that. I feel like it always pops up, especially when I'm just like on stream or I'm teaching classes. Because I'll be pointing at something with my cursor and then the thing pops up and like half obscures whatever I'm trying to show. So I like to intentionally do it by holding a modifier down. And I think if you hold Alt, maybe you could then like go into it and even like mouse wheel around. Do I let go of control? I don't remember. Yeah, there we go. There's like a way to like, anyway, there's a way to like go into it and then use it to scroll around. Although the transparency you're doing by default is kind of funny. All right, so we're getting, right. This is just at an init state. We know nothing. The only thing we know at this point is we know what EIP is, right? Because we have to be here, and we're doing the stack relative to the entry point on the binary, presumably. I don't know if it's actually gotten us the context. It looks like, no, I mean, yeah, I don't know what it initializes as a stack to if it just picks the value, but okay. So we could set them too. Set it to the symbol sim. What's our 64? SENinja.bvs. Wait, was that not? Yeah, I thought that feature got landed. So yeah, there's a feature. Maybe it's waiting on the test branch now still, where you can basically in the Python console, because it's kind of a pain when you want to like you can get tab completion on any of the APIs, and it will show you the arguments and whatever else there. Although you need to have them still show up even as you're typing. But the problem is like if you want to do help in this, you have to go to the beginning, then type help, and then go to the end, and like to do that. So apparently there's a Zonsh exo whatever the shell has a feature in Python where you can just put a question mark at the end, and it will just call help on the whole line basically. Or you can optionally have it do it on just the thing at the end. I think the whole line is the only thing that makes sense here, but so I think Glenn has that sitting on a test branch, so hopefully that'll land soon and we can do stuff like this. But in the meantime, so what is this BVS? BVS is binary something maybe? PV expression. Oh, bit vector. Okay. The GIF where there we go. Glenn's watching soon. Yeah. So the GIF with like the popcorn. I understand some of those words or whatever the guy from what was that the old show that Keenan and Kel, right? I understand some of those words. Bit vector. Yeah, that's used in solvers, right? So that would make sense. All right, so get our value. We can set the value to a concrete value. Okay, all right, so that's where we would set it. So we can we set something to like a string? Bit vector value. Oh, yeah, well, to the symbol. That's not like a string symbol. That's just like this symbol that then is going to be manipulated, or a symbol. I think symbol does not mean that, like string. But if somebody who knows more about symbolic execution wants to correct me, let's try this. Let's set, so let's set the, can we set the active state to here? Not sure what that did. SENinja. Merge states to active states. Oh, set IP to address. Sure, let's just pretend we already called re6 numbers. Okay. Yeah, so now we've just moved it over here. Cool, and those are old state. And now, but like, for example, we want the return, well, let's actually go down. So here was the return, like, did it return true or not? Like, did you possibly, right? It's gonna set that value, presumably. One of these is gonna verify. Wait, really? Infinite loops. Well, whatever, we want to ignore that. And so presumably one of these is going to be iterating over our numbers that we got back out, right? And we're going to explode. Yeah, so we're iterating over all 6 of them, right? So EBX is probably going to start here. There are 5. There's only 5 of them. Oh, is the last one like a checksum then, probably? Probably has some sort of check on them. All right, so let's do this. When we get to here, we can change current state, set IP to address. Can I edit stuff? Whoa, yes, you can. Cool. And memory, right? So we could just set some memory here. So this var 20 is going to be, I believe this is going to be just the base where we are. Right, we've got our pointers that came back from reading 6 numbers, or not pointers. We should just have 6 numbers. So I wonder how much it can do. Can it do scanf? Maybe we should go back and try that. All right, let's do this instead. Let's SENinja reset. All right, and now let's SENinja start symbolic execution. Beautiful. That did exactly what I wanted. And run, continue until branch. Well, that's gonna immediately branch. Oh, set searcher avoid and a target. Okay, so yeah, all right, cool. That's pretty neat. Can we avoid this? SENinja, run, set searcher avoid. Don't go there. Oh, cool. Is that a tag? It is. That's cool. Using the tag system. Very nice. I like that. See, Glenn, look at that. Using your tags. All right. And let's avoid this as well. Actually, let's do this. Let's just say avoid. Yep. Can do that. And we're going to avoid this. All right, now set searcher target. I don't know if I need to do that, if I've avoided all the wrong paths, but let's say I want to get to here. Set searcher target. All right, we want to go there. And I mean, run. Depth first search. I don't want to find them all. Yeah, just give me any single solution that can produce this. Does this work? Ah, I was afraid of that. Yeah, right. So I did say, can it handle scanf? And that was my question. And so that makes sense, right? You've got to be able to handle things that can like give you input. So what I really need to do now is to figure out how to tell it after the result of this call. Where is it putting the, and honestly, I would rather read IL for this. So it's going to put the results in, oh, I should remember this. Scanf. It's going to go with the first argument. Stream and then the format. Oh, right. So user input, format, and then all the results. I should have had to look that up. Okay, so these, so var 24. Huh, where does that actually? So var 24 is, oh, right, yeah. So it's going to get the second argument to this function. 36 numbers, right? It's going to be an array of either values. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. All right, so what we want to do is we need to be able to tell it there is, how do I, there's no right click on here to be able to like, oh, this is just gonna, what about that right click? What do we have in here? We want to be able to tell it, we need to be able to tell it that those numbers are already in memory, right? Like it doesn't know how to actually model scanf. So we need to tell it how to actually do that. Oh, the other thing we could do is we could just go and look and see what models they do have. So let's look in our plugin folder. SENinja repositories. Wait, where did my pretty prompt go? I don't remember why my prompt isn't colored now. So if you've installed something through the plugin manager, it's not going to live in your regular plugins folder. Like if you're editing things and we're writing plugins later, we're just going to drop them in plugins. But these are going to live in the repositories folder. So let's look in, I mean, we could just do a find real quick, but community plugins, and then interesting SENinja. All right. Was that error? It was a unimplemented model. So let's look for model exceptions. Do we have? Is the visitor what implements these? Oh, look, Josh. A little shout out there. That's a good point too. Yeah, let me actually look at, Josh just said, might we just be able to model the call and have it return back the value. So I don't know, how do you teach it? Can you add a new model on the fly, or do I need to restart it? Yeah, so I mean, I can load memory after the call at that location to tell it there's values there. Oh, here we go. External functions and system calls. See, this is documented. All right, you can extend it to overcome the lack of model to perform a specific operation. And you can define a hook. That's documented. Let me know if that font's not big enough, by the way. So there's a sample model, but is there actually any state? Oh, and check out the type annotations. Nice. Yeah, if you're a plugin author, now's the time. Throw in those Python 3.6, I think, type annotations. Bin just officially dropped all Python 2 support, so you're free to run wild with those. I don't actually see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there's IL handlers. Yeah, so if you know where it's going, imported functions. Let's check if you have a handler. Library functions, the name. Okay, so for those defined, models, function models. Yeah. Oh, we have scanf, but not scanf. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so this is totally I really should have cleaned out my chai. It's gonna be all smelly. All right. So it looks like we could implement scanf. libc. I assume this is where models libc comes from. Models libc. Yeah, so there's the scanf handler. So it's too difficult to model. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, we have lots of options, right? Like we could also just patch the binary really fast to have it actually call scanf on like a memory location and then rerun it, and then it would just work. So that's another option. Although we'd have to, if it's not already imported, that would be a bit more of a headache. No. Yeah, and you'll notice, by the way, I'm going to switch back and forth between Visual Studio Code for like plugins and projects that I'm working on, but then I tend to still just use Vim out of habit on the command line. Just like literally, I think it's just a bog standard NeoVim right there. I'm gonna actually, so I'm not gonna be streaming too long for these. I think this one is gonna be wrapping up here pretty soon. So we didn't make a whole lot of progress on this, but again, I'm not in a rush. Like the plan is very much to just kind of take our time, talk about little tidbits and things about it. I do want to play around with SENinja more. I think that was fun. And then that was another suggestion earlier on about another idea for something. Oh, extending the Dwarf Import. Let me just look. See, I want to look at that one really quick though too. I told you I like jumping around. We'll see, and I would love to hear what you guys think. Is an hour too short? Is 2 hours too long? What's the right amount of time for the underscore, of course. All right, so there's an issue. Oh, is this the issue? That one doesn't have a fix for it, so there's an issue file, but I know that doesn't always run. Cannibalizes your B if you run it twice. Oh, yeah, fair. Also, if anybody knows how to map your left-right mouse buttons in, I don't know if it's really like an i3 thing, or I think it's still just running GNOME under the hood on this config I'm using. It says been too long since I ran a Linux as a desktop, and like I really am so hooked on being able to hit like back mouse button. Yeah, so I think I'm going to start with just aim for an hour. Maybe we'll let it run a little bit longer on some days, hour and a half, 2 hours for these things. But we'll let it go. I still like I don't know what this is gonna turn into, right? We'll see what this becomes. Is this more just like me working on plugins, playing with things? Honestly, like I wouldn't mind even like, fixing some Binja bugs on stream at some point. Like I can actually um get my Binja build environment set up and show you guys like the build process, and we could poke at some of the super secret internal source code. There's not much to it. Obviously, we're not super proprietary about stuff if we've been open sourcing. Yeah, I think 2 hours. 2 hours sounds like a good amount of time. That felt too short. So I don't really want to cut it off now, but I also my three kids, my wife is working today, so the three kids are a little. I gotta like feed them at some point. So today I might have to cut it short. But we'll probably aim for 2 hours for the later ones. There is if there's if there's no dwarf, it explodes. I gotcha. That's the bug. Like literally. All right. So yeah. So for this case, let's. So this is like the oops. This is the other way you can install a plugin, right? Like you can always just clone it straight into your plugin folder, which is what I did here. And then if I restart Binja, that'll should give us the dwarf plugin. And guess what? This has no dwarf. So if we run it here, this should give us the dwarf. Nope, dwarf didn't load. What did dwarf not load for? Oh, there's a Python requirement, isn't there? Yeah, elf tools, pip3. I want to say there was something weird about this. Like you want to use also, why does pip3 search bring up the note? Like I feel like that's a little weird, but yeah, is it PyElf tools? All right. Why do I keep typing self? Yeah. There's something weird with that version right there. Also, it's really funny because half y'all have different names than handles that I know, except for Josh and Glenn. Other people I actually don't know who's who, except from context when you mention certain things. Right, and like I get it's GK sudo, but like pip on a search shouldn't need any permissions. Like why does it ask at all? Like it doesn't make sense to me, but and let's look at all the other imports just for kicks. Oh, there's a lot of imports. UUID 4, UUID intertools. Okay, everything else. Is that a thing? Oh, that's probably a local thing. Okay, I'm just suspicious that it is. So let's actually map restart to a hotkey. And I think I do this. All the modifier keys in an R because I don't want to accidentally do it, but oh, that didn't work. All right, what is, oh, something else got in there. That's funny. All right, let's try this again. Control Shift Alt R. Wow. Ooh, that's a bug. Glenn, I want to assign that one to you. Shift Control Alt R. Yeah, that's actually a good one too. I might do that. Like, let's do. That's not an easy one to do accidentally. Wow. Oh, that's probably an i3 thing. Like, I would not be shocked if that's just if I switch back into GNOME, that'll work fine. So it doesn't matter. I'll take a note and we'll look at that. But all right. In the meantime, this is the same bridge import, but I haven't even triggered it yet, have I? Like if you just launch Binja. Oh, that looks like. Yeah. See, look, Josh, I knew this was happening. We never thought you were doing anything bad when you found bugs. That's now a real Binja streamer. Yes. Binja bug on stream. And now, in my defense, I'm running Binja on a non-standard platform. So, won't fix. Except I will, because it's me. But, like, I I am allowed to say that. Oh, do I get to open the? See, I'm not even logged in on GitHub on this browser. Like here, I'd have to do it off. I'd have to do it on the thing that's not being captured. But I'll do that. We'll be open bugs on stream. There is no problem with that. Although the bug in the dwarf tools, so that looks like the. No, so that's a different bug. This one, anybody have any ideas on this bug here? Ooh, if I can crash binge on stream. Well, I mean, I could cheat. I think there's one crash that somebody submitted. I can't open that one on stream though, right now. And it also involves a plugin they wrote. So we'll see. Those don't always count. Let's see. So I don't know if Kyle's actually in here. Was that Kyle that mentioned something earlier? He's the guy that wrote the Dwarf Import plugin. Cannot import name. So Python 3.8 should be pretty safe. But this feels a little bit like pathing for some of the Python 3 changes, but I don't know why that's... you know what? I cloned it. Would that make a difference? Oh. Hold on. I might know the issue. Oh, no. They've just changed, so I need to pip install a particular version of PyElf tools. Oh, nice. Pip 3, remove PyElf tools, uninstall one of these. All right, search PyElf. Oh, yeah, okay. So on that GK sudo thing, if it needed root permissions, it's doing a user install anyways. Like, why did it do that? There's no good reason for that. Can I get a specific version? At 0.25? Let's just pick that. Val requirement. So I mean, this PyElf tools is a new bug. This counts, man. I get credit. Don't try to jip me out of my bug count here. I get internet points inside the company when I find bugs. Actually, you get more when you fix them though. So I gotta be careful. If I find too many, it means I'm gonna spend more time fixing them. PyElf. Browser blank tab. Like I do that on my normal box. Yeah, PyElf tools. That's the one I want. This version's from October. It's not that new. But apparently that's changed. Oh, thank you. Equals. I think I'm doing like node style syntax, I think. Thank you. Sweet. All right. Ooh, there we go. All right. And actually, yeah, come to think of this, I might as well do, we'll do 6. You can tell I'm pretty privileged, but I don't even know the syntax for changing Py versions off the top of my head. I usually get to use the latest. It's kind of a nice place. Very lucky. All right. So now we've got a file that does not have dwarf, and we're going to tell it to import some dwarf symbols. What? I don't get any errors. Maybe I need to open an executable. I bet I do. So let's see what we have in here. That's star.exe. I don't know if I believe you. Actually, let's do file and everything. Cough, P-E-P. Yeah, PE32. Okay, so there's several. Oh, an ARM v7 thumb hello world. No. Let's do PE x86 command. That looks like a good solid choice. PE Windows x86 command x64. Sure, either one. All right, we got ourselves a PE file. And now Dwarf Import is disabled. I don't know. This bug is looking kind of sus here. Which, by the way, I'm told I'm not allowed to say. My daughter tells me, she's 13, and she's like, no, you can't say sus. You're not allowed. So apparently I'm not, but I'll say it anyways. All right, so I can't reproduce this bug. Won't fix. Yeah, I don't see that one doing it. And this one isn't applying to, so we could make something, doesn't seem to work on stripped binaries. Create, oh wait, is that the same bug? Create global component? Oh. Oh man, bug's a dupe. Come on. If you've learned sus from me, you have no interaction with, well, I don't know what generation that is. It's below, I don't know, 25, whatever. Like if we just go watch Among Us streams on Twitch, and you'll hear it constantly, like every game. But yeah, I'm young at heart. That's why I'm allowed to say that, right? Doesn't that count? So that one looks like a duplicate bug. What else? Comment. Yeah, so these are some features and stuff in here that need to be added. But this one, okay, so that's a stripped binary. That's why it's gonna give us the error. So stripped, but with dwarf or not? Like I'm curious. So, so like libzool, yeah, I'm not gonna open that up. Oh, if you want to see a crash on stream, I'll just do that because that'll in this VM so fast. I think I only gave 8 gigs of RAM in this thing. So that would not work really well. MIPS hello world condition elf. Cool, we'll do that one. Open MIPS hello world condition elf. Oh, okay, so that's a different one. Tools. Oh, huh. Wait a minute, what happened there? Dwarf import is available. It is available, but then it's not the second time. Okay, so that's good that it shouldn't be the second time because that was the other bug that says you can run it twice. And yeah, okay, cannot create global component. Okay, so there's a bug. Bin cat. Yeah, bin cat's also the same way, right? So file bin cat. Yeah, so you're right. So stripped, so that's this bug that doesn't work on stripped binaries. These are dupes. I'm half expecting somebody to like close one of these bugs like midstream and like just goes away, but all right, so yeah, let's take a look at this. Create global component. How do we want to how would we fix this? It's the stream was binary engine plugins, Dwarf Import. Actually, let's do this with Visual Studio Code instead. Yeah, I don't have a project plugin installed here yet, so let's just kill that and open a new one. Three. Yeah. All right. And I did, so one of the things I did, we was talking about this on stream last time. There's apparently some ways you can actually hook up like, a live running Python debugger via some shenanigans to Visual Studio Code or JetBrains or some of the other tools. I haven't done that before, but I'd like to. So I'll definitely, I might try to do that off stream first so I don't fumble too much. But I would very much like to do that. But in the meantime, just by doing the Python path installation, right? So when I'm writing a plugin, I ran the scripts install API, or actually I think I did Linux setup, which did everything and added it to the desktop so that like I can launch it via .desktop file. But also so Windows is supposed to be above. fd run. I thought I changed those settings. And so that way I can, or actually I installed bpython as well, per the suggestion of somebody's stream last time when I was doing the test. So having this set up here, but like, oh, there we go. Yeah. So like OpenView, you know, you can get help in args, this is pretty nice. But same thing in Visual Studio Code, because I've got Binary Ninja imported here, I can do bn.open. Oh, Visual Studio Code, don't let me down. There you go. Right. So we do have tab completion in there. Although you notice it doesn't show the parameters, so it could use some improvement. But the error we're looking for is, that's not the error we're looking for. Let's close all this down. Clear log. Clear log. Wait, what? Oh, what plugin is doing this? All right, hold on. Open up cat. Trigger dwarf. Oh, that's a totally different bug now. I'm confused. Right? Am I missing something? So this bridge.import debug info is what needs like. Oh, and this behavior, by the way, Visual Studio Code is super annoying. If you open files now by default, it doesn't open a new tab. It just like opens this preview window. And so I just double click it or double click up here to do it. But that took me a while. I was like, I thought I opened that tab. Where did it go? I did. It was gone. So yeah, import debug info. All right. Yeah, and so we've got log debug. We could relaunch this plug with Binja with debug mode running and probably get some more information about what the plugin is doing. But yeah, so the way that the plugin works, and this is kind of interesting. This actually goes back to a discussion we had about how to do dwarf info parsing or similar debug information parsing. When you've got a binary view object, right? So binary view is the highest level object in Binary Ninja right now. At some point, we'll have like memory spaces and we'll have other. There's a weird icon on my camera. I don't know what it's telling me. So if I shut off, I'll have to switch to my little side cam. But there's a like at some point we'll have memory spaces and we'll have file formats and stuff. Oh, am I not making enough noise? How's my audio levels? I can bring the mic up too. I have it down like 10% right now. Oh, because I was leaning out of the camera or out of the mic range when I was doing that earlier because the mic is right there. So the question is, how do you deal with things like debugging information that doesn't live within the memory space of a binary view? So when you have a dwarf file as an example, or like an ELF file with dwarf information, well, you can have them in PE files too, right? But if you have an ELF file with dwarf information and you want to parse it out, the loader doesn't touch that, right? Like the loader that like maps it in memory, like doesn't do anything at all with that. That's only there for a debugger to go parse and play with later. That they can line stuff up and use that. Like that's not actually used and like available. And so if you are Binary Ninja and you're going to analyze a binary file, how do you handle that bits of information? Like, do you just kind of like map that into like a fake piece of memory? Like, do you put that into like the memory space of the binary view, which is supposed to represent the segments and the sections of like how it actually gets analyzed or how it would actually get loaded? And so this kind of like brought up this sort of like internal debate as to the best way to handle it. But it turns out we have like other views, right? So like when you're opening a binary, And if Kyle's on, he can correct me when I say this wrong, because I'll probably get it wrong. But at least I know it's a real problem. But we have we have a raw view, and then we have our elf view. And you'll notice if you open up like a garbage file, let's go dev random. Okay, count equals 1 not equals random. Let's open a random file called random. All right, so if I open a file this is actually a relatively new change in Ninja, but if I open like a garbage file that it doesn't recognize as an existing binary view, it will say, I can either open it as a raw file or I can open it as a mapped file. And a mapped file is something kind of in between just like raw bytes and a full binary view, right? So that I can set an architecture, I can set the load address. This is nice when you get like a firmware file and you want to just like load it up really quickly without building a whole loader that will actually parse everything out appropriately. And so that's what this mapped view represents. And so like this is complete garbage, so I'm not going to set any of this stuff. But if I want to set like a base load address, I could, or the entry point, or like the load address. Like right now, it's going to load at hex 10,000, right? So if I just do this, you'll see I should have a raw view and a mapped view, and I can't switch to the map view because there's no actual instructions. There's nothing there for it. I'm confused why this thing is continuing to error, so we'll have to look at that one later. But yeah, so we found 2 bugs, maybe not, we'll see. Sometimes it's just something I'm doing wrong. Anyway, so this is the raw view, but you can also do the map view. So all that to say, when the Dwarf plugin analyzes the Dwarf information on a binary, we decided the right place to put that information is in the map view, because that's like it's not the full loaded binary view in memory, but it's also something more than just like raw bytes as the file exists on disk. So I like that distinction. I think that makes sense, and it should be, for when we have other similar debugging information, when you want to have things associated with a binary view, you could do them there. We could also had the data from the Dwarf available via APIs, but not necessarily expose the raw bytes. But it is kind of nice, right? Like if you're just in an elf and you hit space, kind of Control-Shift-R to reset the layout. Like it is really nice to be able to scroll through and actually see the data structures kind of decomposed. In fact, I think that's one of the features of Ninja that people don't use that often. But just create some types, throw it on a blob of data. It doesn't have to be an executable file at all to be able to like see how it gets like analyzed and taken out. It was actually a relative pointer, so like it actually went there. Nice. You can have enums and whatever you want in these views. So we want to be able to expose the Dwarf information the same way. It's really nice to be able to see it. So that's going to happen in the map view. And I think this plugin is like continually doing stuff every time oh yeah, it's clearly got some sort of hook. Watch, it goes up every time I click. Yay, get that count going up real high. So like if I just, get all of them. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go and end the stream now and get the kids some dinner. Thanks everybody for bearing with me. This is like my first official kind of like live stream on it. We did like the tech test before. Feedback is welcome. Let me know if you have comments, suggestions, things that you would like us to do differently. And thank you very much for everybody that hung with this whole time. So hopefully we'll see you next week. Take care.